Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Chelsea, and welcome to
Nick and Chelsea's Gen Excellent Adventure,
where we chronicle 50-something parents of a 5-year-old as we move from the USA to the UAE.
You can also follow our journey on our Instagram page, Nick Chelsea's Gen Excellent Adventure, or type in the name of the podcast. If you have any questions or subjects you'd like us to address, go ahead and send them to us through our Instagram page.
So the last episode about our journey to Europe and why included a lot of details about what's happening in the UAE and beyond. You already know that. That's just a refresher in case you didn't listen or you have forgotten about it.
Yeah, as to why we are maybe not having as much Dubai content as we usually have.
Yes. So because we did move to the UAE, but now we're on kind of this indefinite hiatus.
Yes, we're a little detour. Let's call it a detour.
We'll call it a detour. Okay, yeah. Because we do plan to go back. Okay, so this episode is about our first stop on the journey out of the UAE.
Yeah, so this was to the Lakes District of the UK, Northern England, and specifically West Cumbria, for those of you who are in the know.
Yes, and so I wrote the Lake District on our agenda here. The Lakes District is what I've always called it, but then when we were there, I kept seeing signs that said Lake District.
Okay.
Singular. So I'm going to go with that. I don't know how it's actually said by people, but that's what it said on signs, Lake District. So anyway, beautiful area.
Yeah, and just so to give you a heads up, we are recording this quite a long time after we were actually in the Lake District.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be jogging our memory as best as we can in this episode.
Yeah, I already had to jog my memory by asking the person we stayed with lots of questions. She was very accommodating. Okay, so speaking of that, why did we go there?
So if we can go back to our experience there in Dubai, we were trying to find a flight out of Dubai to wherever we could, basically. We ended up getting the first flight out we could get was to Manchester. That was not like a plan of any. It was really a spur of the moment, yes, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Not really realizing that this was kind of going to be the best possible destination we could have.
Indeed. We had no idea, but the minute we said that we were going to Manchester to a good friend of ours in Dubai, she says, "Oh, my mom said you can stay with her."
Yeah.
I was like, what?
What a gift that turned out to be.
Indeed. We could not have asked for a better place to stay. Mm-hmm. It was so wonderful.
And what it did is it gave us a little bit of time at the beginning of our the new chapter of our adventure to kind of get our bearings and figure out what we were going to try to do from that point. Because we really went into it without any idea of what really was next for us.
Right. And our initial plan was just to go 2 nights.
Yes. Yeah.
And then while we were there, we're like, or 3. And they were very accommodating of that. And it wasn't like we were constantly doing stuff while we were there, but we did do a fair amount for just 3 nights.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you have a 5-year-old who has been kind of stuck inside for more than a week because of the shelter-in-place orders.
Yeah.
It was great to be able to spend a lot of time outside and outdoors in conditions that are a little more familiar to us than the Dubai conditions were.
Yeah. And yeah, with that, jumping ahead on that, we don't really need to talk too much about it later, like I had in the agenda, but we got there and we were like, oh, it's so nice and cold. Mm-hmm. Oh, look, it's gray. Actually, when we got there, it was beautiful blue skies. But the next day it was gray, and the next day it was gray. But it was still so pretty.
Yeah.
Just lovely. Yeah. And we really enjoyed it. I had to buy a hat. But we had our raincoats. We had some layers. Our host gave me one of her fleeces, and I used it a lot.
It was one of those things where I was so fortunate that I decided to bring my hat, scarf, and gloves with us to Dubai.
Yes.
And it was specifically, I knew I was never going to use those things in Dubai.
Right.
But if we traveled somewhere, during spring break or somewhere that would be a little colder, it was like, well, maybe this would be something that I would be able to use. Well, threw those into the suitcase, the bag, the to-go bag, to help cover if we ended up in someplace cold, and lo and behold, we did.
Yes, and I conveniently forgot the hats that I brought to Dubai. I did remember to bring them to London back in November, but I forgot them on this trip. So I was like, Anyway, it was a lovely place to be. It was so beautiful and, like I said, nice and cold. And it had, at the time, now Dubai's cooled down again. At the time, it had gotten kind of hot earlier than expected.
Yeah, we were starting to feel the changing of the seasons.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, causing a little bit of consternation because it was coming earlier than we had been led to believe.
Yes.
And what we've kind of since learned is that it really was sort of an early heating up time.
And now it has cooled down. They've had a bunch of rain and it's been cooler. So yeah, we're missing all the good rain, but we got plenty where we've been.
But there's been like 3, real rain moments in Dubai since we first arrived last August, and somehow we've been out of the country for all 3.
I know. We actually really wanted to see rain.
Yeah. It would have been, not that we want to see the, disaster rain.
No, we don't want anybody hurting or any flooding, but we just kind of wanted to see rain.
Yeah, and in this one, which was very strong, and it was something that they had to deal with. It wasn't a huge disaster or anything like that. They were able to handle everything great with the rain this time.
Yeah, that's what we heard. Okay, so going back to the Lake District, we just want to give a little information on where we were staying. So I think we said this in the last episode, we took the train from Manchester to Penrith.
Which is about a 2 hours north of Manchester.
Yeah. We got picked up by our friend's dad, who was lovely, just met us at the station. He was inside. We figured out who he was right away and vice versa. And we had that nice woman on the train with us who engaged with tea, and her husband was there. Anyway, very, very good welcoming to the UK. And then he took us to her mom's house in Branthwaite. So it looks like Branthwaite, Waite, but you pronounce it Branthwaite. And so it's like a little village, a little town. And so that's where they live. We stayed there.
This was about an hour car drive from the station in Penrith, by the way.
Yes. And it's very close to a name we just need to tell you about. Okay. We just have to tell you it's really close to Cockermouth.
Yeah, it was. We were basically told to make fun of the name of this place.
Yeah, and you're supposed to say Cockermouth, which sounds a lot better, but the way it's spelled is Cockermouth, and the signs are everywhere for Cockermouth. But but okay. So anyway, we just really enjoyed seeing those signs everywhere. It made us laugh. We're so American. But it's famous for more than its name. It's actually where Wordsworth was born and spent his childhood.
Great. So it's a land of poets.
It's a land of poets.
Yeah.
So we loved that. Okay. So anyway, we stayed at her mom's house with her mom and her brother, who were lovely. As soon as we got there, basically, we put our stuff in the bedroom we were staying in. And then we were given hot tea and biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt so cared for. And then, even better than the hot tea and biscuits, is they took T off on a walk by the river. They had to drive there, but they took T off on a walk by the river with their dog, Callie, so that we could relax a bit without him.
Yeah.
It was so thoughtful.
Well, and it was, important, I think, for us to be able to get a chance to kind of take a breath.
Yeah.
Because, this whole process at that very beginning was so stressful.
Yeah.
And, it's on the go the whole time once you start the process of getting on the plane and everything. And then all the travel. We'd been up very, very early, well, really late at night.
Yeah.
To get to the airport in the first place. So having a moment to kind of just let out a deep breath was really valuable. And, in theory, we were going to start working on, figuring out the next step. But I don't know that we really did much of that.
I think I did actually cancel the accommodations in Taiwan.
Yeah, but I mean, we didn't start figuring out where we were going
to
land permanently or anything like that. We didn't start getting, tickets to other flights or whatnot, because I think we just needed a moment to decompress.
That's true. We did do that. And it was so grateful for that time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were like, we've been like a party of 3 this whole time, but when we're with other people, it is a little bit of relief to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always thankful for those opportunities. Okay, so it must be said, because T is a kid of big emotions, and he is a wonderful, fun kid who's also, as Dr. Becky would say, a DFK, a deeply feeling kid. Okay, so he definitely struggled in a new environment, but these two humans were just so patient and kind with his big emotions, and they had so much compassion, and they showed him love.
Yeah.
And he, by the second day, he was just like a better kid. The third day, he was a better kid. Now, the third night, he knew we were leaving the next day and he was not happy about it. So those emotions came out again. But the other thing they did is they talked to their neighbors and they loaned books and toys. And so he was completely set. He had loads of things to play with and new books to read. And it just was such a nice setup.
Yeah, and when you mentioned, their kind of patience with everything, I mean, this has been a challenging and difficult whole scenario for T.
Yeah.
Because he's dealing with
Poor
change over and over and over again through this whole process. And that's a lot for any 5-year-old to take on.
And when we get frustrated, we have to remind ourselves, like, this kid has gone through so much this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. It's hard for him. He doesn't shut down. He's not a kid who shuts down. Mm-hmm. He shows it out loud, and so it's hard on us that way, but also hopefully like he's becoming adaptable.
Yeah. That's our grand hope for this, is that this is going to ultimately make him a stronger person in the long run.
Yeah.
There's some challenges going through it in the moment for sure, for both him and for us as parents.
Yeah.
One thing that's happening, and then this is kind of getting in the weeds a little bit, but he's basically with us all the time now.
I know, and it's not good for him or for us.
Yeah, he doesn't get any breaks from me in particular.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of dealing with his during the day stuff now.
Yeah.
In the school, whether there's any schooling we're doing or whatever. So he's in a situation where he's with his parents all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a real challenge that comes for that too.
Yeah, we were never meant to be stay-at-home parents. And he was not meant to be a stay-at-home kid.
Right.
He's too extroverted for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a lot for him to handle and us to handle, but especially him, because we at least have more control over our emotions. Anyway, it was really lovely to be in an environment, our very first place, where they seemed to understand that and be patient with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really appreciated that. Now I know she's a parent of now grown 3 kids, has been through it and gets it. So, and like had worked with foster kids. Like there was a lot of reason for that, but it was lovely. Okay. So moving on, in the many things that we managed to fit into 3 nights, a lot of it involved nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the first day?
Well, the first day, I don't know, the timing of everything. I think the first day was when we went to the soft play.
Yeah.
And what that was is they had a soft play place really pretty close there in town, where we were able to go and kind of let him be around other kids and get some exercise in while we were able to do some work on getting flights and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took the computer, we got on the Wi-Fi there at the place.
I totally forgot we did that.
And we were able to get a little bit of logistic stuff out of the way while he was playing, which was that was helpful.
Yeah.
It was a pretty nice place. I mean, it wasn't like brand new or anything like that, but it was a good size. It had, good climbing stuff for a kid his age. They had a little go-kart track that he was able to do a couple of times. But one thing that coming from Dubai that was remarkable, it was what, 5 pounds?
It was 5 pounds
for basically, where were we there? 3 hours, 2 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
What do you think that would cost in Dubai? I probably.
What is 5 pounds in dirhams?
That would be what, 25?
Yeah, so it would
something
cost
like that, 25, 30 maybe.
It would cost between usually.
I mean, for 2 hours, you're definitely over 100.
Yeah, and we stayed longer than 2 hours, and they did not charge us more.
Yeah.
Basically, so we were there at least 3 hours, and they didn't charge us more. So I think it would be normally if you were doing at Adventure Zone, our favorite place in Dubai for T to go, it is I think 80.
Oh, I think it's more than that. Didn't you get like 11 for 1,000?
Something like that.
11 sessions for 1,000 dirhams. So that makes it, 90 something.
Yeah.
And those are 1 hour sessions.
Yeah. No, and that's a really good place. It's a really good place. It's one of the best ones that we've seen. But yeah, so this was insanely cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's a small little town, so that I'm sure is part of it. It doesn't cost as much to upkeep. It's a lot cheaper to the real estate's cheaper. There's so many reasons, but it just kind of blew us away. And the staff was lovely. We met one family there they were super nice. They were foster parents actually. So, but T didn't play too much with other kids. The kids mostly were younger, except for this one.
Because this was a school day.
Yeah,
so the kids who were there were the ones who were too young to be in school.
Right. It was our spring break. It wasn't their spring break. So it was fine. He still managed to enjoy himself.
Yeah.
And we still got some things done on the computers, but it was just, and there was a lot there, really.
Yeah.
For how I was shocked how big it was. But yeah, so we did that. I think the second day, we could be mixing those 2 days up, but I think the second day we went for a walk with our host to this beautiful area around a lake called Buttermere. And it had a beautiful waterfall view. So we walked towards that view. So you could see it from far away, but we got pretty close to the waterfall and just enjoyed the scenery and the lushness around us. T, if I recall, was trying to jump over puddles and then landed in a puddle and got really upset because he doesn't have rain boots.
And that was the rainy day.
Yeah.
The one where we actually got some rained on a little bit.
Yeah, but it wasn't terrible. It was very like a Seattle rain. It didn't feel like super heavy. It was just there. And just all around that region, you're looking at the Fells. And the Fells is a mountain range there's lots of different names of the mountains. I can't remember. I think Ben Nevis.
Ben Nevis? Yeah, that's a very famous mountain up there in northern
Yeah, I think
UK.
that's one of them. Anyway, and so pretty sure that it's the same range that we were driving through on our way up to the Highlands in Scotland couple of years ago. Okay. So anyway, it looks the same. I'm pretty sure they said that, but I could be wrong. Somebody correct us if we're wrong. Yeah. But it was a really beautiful region. You're like lakes everywhere and the Fells range, and they don't call it the range, but the Fells, they just call it the Fells, like the Rockies. Just a beautiful, beautiful place to be driving around, to be walking around. I don't remember any of the lake names, but there's many of them.
Well, and when you talk about this particular walk that we took, one thing I definitely remember is that at the very end we came back to get ice cream of all things.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was the whole opposite of Dubai situation where we're out in the cold, and the rain and the wind, and we go inside and ice cream.
I know. I think we might have gotten. Yeah, we just got ice cream. It was not, or T got ice cream.
I think you got a drink.
I got a coffee.
You got a hot drink.
For sure I got a coffee.
And yeah, it was, but even, one thing that we didn't kind of mention is to get to there. I mean, you're driving through the countryside.
Yeah. These beautiful, like windy roads.
Yeah. Very windy.
And then, we could never do this, figure it out on our own. And of course you're driving on the other side of the road. And they're narrow roads, and it reminded me of the first time I went abroad and went to Ireland and was like, oh my gosh, driving a stick shift on the other side of the road and trying not to get hit by cars and also trying not to hit the stone wall, because there's lots of those stone walls in these roads too. Lots of sheep in the hillsides. Yeah. I mean, just stunning. I really enjoyed that. I mean, could I live in a small town like that, not near a big city? I don't think I could live that far from a city, but I really enjoyed spending time there. I would probably enjoy a summer around that. Yeah, it was really, really nice. And then on our last full day, we came up with none of these ideas. I should say that too. These were all the ideas of our friend's mom, who was just amazing. We're still in touch on WhatsApp. She was like, how about this? How about this? How about this? And then she would go drop us off, or her son would go drop us off. And we're like, Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'd pick us up. Yeah, I mean, they really, like I said, took great care of us. So the last day, she dropped us off at a wildlife park.
Yeah, I don't think she'd ever gone there herself.
No,
before.
she just knew about it. It was a ways away.
Yeah, but
still in the same Cumbria region.
Yeah, so she knew about this but didn't know specifically about it. She just knew of it.
Yeah.
But thought that maybe that would be something that T would enjoy, and it turned out to be a really, really good choice.
Yeah. I had no idea what to expect, but it was basically like a petting zoo meets a regular zoo.
Yeah.
Like it didn't have a whole regular zoo vibe, but it had some of those animals that you might see at a regular zoo and some that are more regional. And then it also had like some petting zoo elements like alpacas and goats.
Yeah.
And you could buy food.
Yeah, you could hand feed these animals. Some of them. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously not the others.
So you buy a bag of feed basically.
Yeah, which you would do at a petting zoo.
And the animals are behind the fences, but you can feed them through the fences.
Yeah, so you're not really actually petting this, but it kind of had that petting zoo vibe.
Yeah.
And so T loved that.
Yeah.
He loved feeding the animals, and he got to do alpacas, goats, and there was one other. Was it the donkey? The donkeys, or one donkey at least. Yeah, it was great.
I mean, he loved just having his hand licked because you just put your hand up to the mouths of these animals, and there they go. They just go in with their tongues, and he was just, as you say, tickled by that.
Yeah, and there's also like a little cafe there, like there are at everywhere. And so I think we got like lunch there, or maybe I think we had lunch there, and then the people working there were lovely, just sweet. And they also were really lovely with the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like I enjoyed seeing that when there was handling. And there were just a lot of different elements of just different types of animals there. So that's why I say it was like you get kind of your farm animal experience over here. Mm-hmm. And then you get, here's a mountain lion. Or what was that?
It was a snow leopard. There was a snow leopard.
Snow leopard and
then there was, off in the distance, you had those Highland cattle.
And then they also had like was it a Scottish cat of some kind that was way up in the hills. So that one of the things that was really cool about this park is it was called a wildlife park, and I didn't really know what that meant, but this was truly like a big natural park. It felt almost like conservation land. Mm-hmm. And it was adjacent to, I think, what was conservation land.
Yeah.
And there were other entrances to that where you could go walking, but it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like you go to a zoo in the States, and I don't know like what a zoo in London would be like, but it probably the same as the States, that's like a big area, of course, with, your fenced in things for all the habitats, but it's relatively small in comparison because it's in the city or whatever. No, this was huge.
Yeah.
This was huge.
And, it wasn't necessarily like you felt like you were just walking around a bunch of cages.
You did not, because some of it was just like, some of it was more farm animals, so they could just kind of wander in like a large grassy area. Yeah. Almost like a ranch style.
Yeah, like the exception to the cages were the birds.
Yeah, that's right.
One of which was the laughing kookaburra, is that right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Which T just was really enjoying the sounds this one made.
Because it really was laughing when you walked by.
But then the last time we walked by, I mean, they did the full-on laugh sound. And T took credit for making him laugh.
I did that.
and thought that was just, he was just, loved that. He really enjoyed hearing that and thinking that he was a part of that.
Yeah. Okay, so the other cool thing about this park, which I don't know the name of it, it's okay. It was wildlife park somewhere in Cumbria. The other thing that was cool about it, two other things, is it had an outdoor playground that was really natural. It reminded me of that playground in the tiny town we stayed in Scotland.
Yeah. Up
in the Highlands. It was like built into the trees, basically.
Well, lots of carved wood.
Or it wasn't built into the trees, but it was made of carved wood.
Yeah, so you're not climbing on, the metal or plastic structures that you think of with playgrounds. It was, handmade things. For example, they had a really big spider.
Yes, I love that.
Hand-carved spider.
With a net.
Yeah. Yeah, with...
Web.
Yes.
Yeah. We call it a net. Oh my gosh.
And, you could climb up onto the top of the spider. We have a great picture of T standing on top of that spider.
Yeah. Really cool
So
playground.
it was a good moment for him to have that ability to get some, playtime energy out, climbing and running around and all that kind of stuff there.
But they also had a soft play area.
Yeah. And it was actually surprisingly good for what you go into, and you think you're going into this really small room, and it turned out to be bigger than we realized when we went in there.
It really was a small room with a lot packed in it. That's really what it was. There were some chairs for the parents to sit at, but the kids could kind of just go crazy, and he enjoyed that. And then that also was, it had another door from there into where they do like bird demonstrations.
Yeah, it was a small little auditorium in there. I think they do more than just birds. Like I think they had a snake one, for example.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think they just do their presentations there. In that sort of small auditorium.
And we actually went to the soft play going, oh, cool, we'll do this for a little bit, and then we'll go to the owl demonstration. And then we could not tear T away from the owl from the soft play, so only I went to the owl demonstration. Yeah. But we really should have switched that. You should have gone.
Well, I mean, what did you think? Did you enjoy it?
I fully enjoyed it, yeah. He had 2 owls, and he's been working there for years and years and years and knows those owls really well. They're very comfortable with him. I was a little freaked out because birds always freak me out, but I loved watching them fly and land. They had 2 perches for them, and then also onto his arm, of course. He had the big glove on. No, very different types of owls. It was really cool. Do I remember them? No, but I think I probably put them up on Instagram a while ago. Anyway, we have a reel about our trip. It's just a reel, so it's not going into detail, but I'll repost that when we post this podcast.
One of the really fortunate aspects of this, though, is that while we were there, it was threatening to rain.
That's true.
But it didn't. We stayed dry the entire time we were there. Because this is
sprinkles. We got some sprinkles.
Was almost all, except for the soft play and the place, the demonstration room. Everything was outdoor. Yeah. So if it was going to rain, we were going to get wet.
Yeah.
And we didn't get wet.
No, we got sprinkled on a little bit, but hardly at all.
But this was not the case in Branthwaite.
Yeah, where we were staying, they got poured on.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah, and we did not. So thanks for taking us to the wildlife park.
Yeah, we lucked out with that one because it would have been a completely different experience if we were just getting soaked the whole time.
Absolutely. The other highlight I will just mention of that park was the red panda.
Yeah, we happened to be fortunate again to be kind of hanging out around that part of the park when they were having the feeding demonstration with the red panda.
Yeah, and we'd seen that they were going to do that, but we didn't know where it was. And so we did just kind of happen upon it, and we were going to keep going, and then we realized, oh wait, people are crowding around. Oh wait, this is the time. Mm-hmm. And that was so sweet.
Yeah, and what were the animals they said the red panda was actually? It's not anything like a panda bear.
Yeah, they said the only reason that it's called a red panda is because it eats bamboo and it's red.
Yeah, but it was more like a skunk, more related to a skunk.
A weasel.
A weasel? I thought skunk. They said 2 animals.
Same.
So
it's been a skunk and a weasel.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that I can't believe we remember that. Good job. There's so many things I don't remember. Okay, so that was a super highlight. But then after that, and this was again our friend's idea, they picked us up, both mom and brother picked us up, and then we all went to afternoon tea at a hotel called Armathwaite Hall on Branthwaite Lake. All of these is Waite, Branthwaite, Armathwaite. Lots of thwits in this region. Just lots of thwits. Anyway, they picked us up and we went to afternoon tea. We made a reservation. If you don't know me, then you don't know that I love an afternoon tea. Mm-hmm. I love it. I try to do it when I can because it's kind of a special thing to do, and it's also kind of expensive. This was not that expensive in comparison to other afternoon teas I've been to. They were like, it's kind of expensive. And then I was like, it's kind of not that expensive. But in comparison, like I said. But again, we're in a different region. It's just nothing's as expensive as it would be in London or York. I went in York with my mom, and it cost quite a bit more than this. And then you and I went in Vancouver a year and a half ago when we were there for the Bruce Springsteen concert. That was quite a bit more expensive. It was at the Westin. But I just love kind of the formality. I don't know if that's the right word. I love the presentation. I love feeling like I'm in a Jane Austen book.
You just want to be posh.
I do.
That's what it comes down to.
I want to be posh just in those moments. Most of the time I don't want to be posh. I'm a little awkward around posh people. But I do just kind of love the ritual of an afternoon tea.
Yeah.
I do.
Tea is, because we're, on the move a lot, we don't have a lot of books. So we've been checking books out of the library digitally.
Yeah.
And he has been just recently all about Fancy Nancy.
Yeah.
So I think you want to be Fancy Nancy.
I want to be fancy. Yeah, I want to go to afternoon tea like once a year and be Fancy Nancy. Yeah. I don't know why we should tell him. Do you remember that tea we went to? Now he had a hard time at the tea.
Well, first of all, let's set the scene a little bit. So this was at a fancy hotel.
Yeah, and really beautiful.
Which was basically like an old castle.
Yeah.
Or an old, old mansion or something like that.
Yeah.
It's really elegant.
Looks like some lord or lady's residence.
Stone building. Kept it really nicely. So you're going into a what looks like a very formal situation.
Yeah.
This was T's first ever time going to high tea.
Yeah, I normally would not bring him.
We're fortunate. We went in and we were the only people there.
Yeah, that worked out really well in our favor. Of course, it's not the season for tourists in the Lake District. So that's a large part of it. So they had some guests, but nobody's doing the tea really. I think there was like one other person in that room.
Yeah, that came after we had been there.
Yeah, so it really, but we were sitting by the window. The view was gorgeous. You're looking at a lake and these gorgeous lawns and trees. And it was really stunning. The tea service was nice. You get your tea. We basically got one service and then we ordered extra tea.
Yes.
And that worked out really well. We had plenty of food for all 4 adults plus tea. And we loved it. So then, I loved it. How did you feel?
Yeah. You get in a lot of different finger foods and a lot of them are sweet.
Yeah.
So you're getting a lot of desserts.
Yes.
So T was very happy about that.
He was.
I think I'm a little less, enthralled with that because I'm not a huge sweets person.
Yeah. And some teas will have more like half and half savory and sweet. And this wasn't really that way. This had more sweet than savory. It did have some savory, but not that much of it. And Plus, it's 4 people splitting it, so that's a little less savory.
And he was less interested in the savory ones.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah.
I do remember I had a rhubarb tea.
Oh, what did you think of that?
Yeah, it was nice. I don't think I've ever had a rhubarb tea before, so I got that, and that was... Yeah, I thought it tasted pretty good.
Yeah, something about Nick is that anytime there's something kind of different on a tea menu... he likes to get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity to try something a little different, something that you've never had before. Why not go for it? I mean,
sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Why order the English breakfast every time you're at a tea?
No, definitely not.
Getting tea somewhere. Let's try something different and see what it's like.
It's also nice to try the house special. Like Arabian Tea House is a good example. You've tried a few different teas there because you're like, oh, now I'm going to try this one. Now I'm going to try this one. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes you're like, I'll do a different one next time. But anyway, that was nice. And then it had beautiful grounds. Yeah. Right. So we then, after the tea, we wandered around down to the lake and they had a big swing that T used.
Yeah, big tire swing.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was a tire swing. I forgot that too.
And they also had a big, huge frame, empty frame that you could go kind of make your own pictures with.
Which you enjoyed doing. T was on the swing and Nick was posing in the frame. No, it was really lovely. A really nice place to be. And even though it was still cold out, it was just nice. And then as we walked out, you didn't see this, but as we walked out, I looked to the left and saw the other wing of the hotel. And I could see all the steam rising off the hot tub and it was kind of glassed in. And I was like, I want to stay here. I want to go in that hot tub that is outside looking at the lake. I want that. Sometime maybe. And there was somebody in it. So I could see that somebody was out there in this cold weather in the hot tub. I love that. I love the cold weather hot tub vibe. Anyway, that was lovely, lovely, lovely. A really nice last day experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So in between all of these adventures, they basically took care of us. Like, I felt parented.
Yeah.
We were fed yummy food. We got daily tea. I love that. I love the London afternoon tea, tradition. It's like after, even at home, it's just love. It's so nice. We were able to use their laundry equipment, and that included a dryer.
Yeah.
We hadn't had a dryer in so long.
And it's so important to have access to the laundry facilities in these various places we've been, because we have like 5 days worth of clothes.
Yes, exactly. We have a little bit more now, but more about that later.
Yeah.
Anyway, we just overall felt really, really cared for in our first space out of Dubai.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really a godsend to land in that particular spot, and to have just as soft a landing as you could have, given the wild and really stressful nature as to why we left in the first place.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still dreaming about the bolognese. I'm not kidding. I have like little memories of how good it was. It really, soft landing is a perfect statement. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how did it feel to have a soft landing in general? Like, how did it feel to just be in the UK?
Well,
in this way?
I mentioned this in the last episode. I mean, the relief of being someplace where you weren't concerned about the explosions going on overhead.
Yes.
That was such a lift of mental weight and emotional weight. Being able to feel that I don't feel like I'm at risk right now.
Yeah.
And that was so felt so good to just not have to think about that aspect for the first time in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, nothing was jarring.
Yeah.
Soft landing, no jarring. Thank you for that. The other thing I just want to point out is like, these are nice conversational people. Like, it was really easy to talk with them. And in addition to just feeling cared for, I also felt like we had some really nice conversations, learned about the region. Of course, I promptly forgot all the names of everything, but we did learn. And it was really just I love meeting people. I love meeting people I can talk to and that just feel good. And that's how it felt.
I think you got a nice little different perspective on your friend too.
That's true. And not in a bad way, like in a great way. We love our friend. This is one of our favorite people in Dubai, and she takes care of T, and she's a 4th grade teacher, and she's just amazing. So it was really awesome to get to know her family a little bit. And we also got to see her home one day. Just kind of stopped by because she owns a place there. Anyway, it was really, really fun. A really good experience. So, okay. Now, so again,
by the way, this is how good it was. As I think you might have mentioned, T really didn't want to leave.
Oh, he was so sad.
Yeah, I mean, he really bonded with.
He was calling them auntie and uncle.
Yeah, and having gone through quite the traumatic experience, I think he really latched on to people who felt safe for him.
Yeah, and they loved him. They loved him in person. So he, agreed. He really had a hard time leaving. He was crying and upset and resisting. And
it's one of those, are we going to get out the door to be able to get to our train in time?
Yeah. Yes,
sort
right.
of circumstances.
Right. In the end, it all worked out. And our next spot involved other children. So he was happy with also lovely people who provided more soft landing. So it was fine. But he didn't know it would be fine. So he was just projecting, I don't want to leave this safe place.
Yeah.
Of course. Anyway, it was great. And we'll repost the reel that we made about the visit just so people can get an idea. When we talk about all these places, this is kind of what it looks like. Anyway, the last thing we usually do on our episodes, but we did not do it the last probably 2 times, is our excellence and boguses.
Yeah, I mean, it was completely inappropriate to do something like that in the last episode in particular.
Yeah.
And,
maybe not. I can come up with it right now.
Yeah, but I mean, that was a little more serious, I think, than we usually get. And this is kind of a little light, whimsical sort of segment that we do. It feels like it's more appropriate to do it with this now. But the problem is, I don't know about you, I was not like taking any notes or anything about our time there. I was just
doing
yeah,
day by day.
and
Hour
so
by hour.
I don't have a memory of what would make for good excellence and boguses for me
Yeah.
from that time.
Yeah. I think it would be hard. I mean, I feel like we listed all our excellence and there weren't really any boguses because we were so relieved. So, I mean, agreed. We will work on this for the Germany segment.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, because that time is slipping away from that too.
We're gonna do it.
Okay. Well,
okay,
we'll
but
see.
for this one,
Yeah. So we're gonna just have a kind of a general communal excellent and bogus for this particular part of our trip.
okay, go for it.
So our excellent is that we were safe and secure in a place where we felt safe and secure.
Yep, and our bogus,
Well, that we were not home in Dubai.
yeah, because really, truly, that's where we want to be.
Yeah, and it continues to be what we're hoping is that we're able to go back.
Yeah.
But in our next episode, won't be back to Dubai. It'll instead be the next step on this little detour of ours.
Right. So, coming at you from Spain, but talking about Germany, that'll be the next episode.
So go ahead and look forward to that when we're able to get the next episode up and running.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah. But until we get to that, be excellent to each other.
Have a great week, everyone.